On PM Express tonight, Menzgold Saga, politics of convenience. It's a question mark because as of tonight, the two main political parties have been holding press conferences on this all-important matter. Some have raised questions about the politicization of a very important subject with a lot of customers in the middle of it. At the press conference first held by the NDC first started with their press conference. They raised a number of issues, accusing the NPP of aiding Nana Appiah Mensah, who is a Menzgold owner, to flee the shores of the country. They also alleged that Nana Appiah Mensah sponsored Nana Ado's 2016 campaign. They have evidence about that. Also tonight, the NDC alleges that top government officials took secret payments from Menzgold, they claim. And also, at the press conference, they raised questions about why the First Lady of this Republic was seen, her foundation took monies from Nana Appiah Mensah's Menzgold at a time when Menzgold itself was under investigation. That was an important point that they raised, that why that happened, as the First Lady, knowing that Bank of Ghana, as far back as 2014, has raised several concerns about Menzgold. So went ahead and took money from Menzgold for the foundation. They questioned that as well today at the press conference. They also raised issues with the finance minister, because apparently the finance ministry, back in 2017, working with another private organization, had organized an award ceremony, at which event Nana Appiah Mensah's Menzgold was awarded at a time when, again, we know that the Bank of Ghana had raised questions about the legality of Menzgold's dealings. And so they raised questions about that as well. Also, the NDC wants government to take full responsibility, not only retrieve locked up funds of customers, but also pay compensation. They raised that today. And they also revealed government's obscene determination. This is a direct quote from the press release that they put out today. Obscene determination to aid perpetrators of the scam to get off the hook. They're questioning why a whole 4 months after, we have seen very little in terms of holding the directors accountable, freezing assets, freezing bank accounts, etc. The NPP held a press conference to react to that. Now, the NPP describes the NDC's allegation as lies and propaganda. They went on to say that the Menzgold Saga is one of the problems created in the NDC. In a timeline show, they point out today that Menzgold started somewhere in 2013, 2014. Issues were raised about it by the Bank of Ghana, etc. And the question that they've raised to the NDC is why they need to do anything about it back then under your administration. Now, the NPP denies any complicity of both the President and the First Lady as far as the Menzgold issue is concerned. That is what we're going to be interrogating today on this all-important subject here on PM Express. You want to stay with us because you've heard the press conferences today. What you haven't heard is interrogation of the claims made by both sides. That's exactly what you're going to do on the platform today. Stay with us here on PM Express. In the studio with me tonight on PM Express is Sami Jemfi, is the communications officer or director. And I was saying, okay, communicate. That is in the NDC's constitution is officer. So that's a communications officer of the NDC, and he joins us in the studio on this all-important subject. We had booked to bring in the communications director of the NPP. However, we have the deputy communications director of the party instead, Kamaldeen, joining us in the studio instead. And we need to get a clarification on what happened, because up until 30 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago, we know that his boss was going to be here. So, Mr. Dean, we need to start with it because our listeners, our viewers, you owe them an explanation what happened, because we had sent them a flyer advertising that your boss was going to be here.
Evans, very good evening to you and the viewers of JoyNews. Of course, you guys have been doing pretty good. Explanation as to why my boss is not here is simple. An invitation was extended to our party, in this case, the director of communication of our party, apparently some issues came up this evening and he needed to attend to them. So such engagements could not have allowed him to appear. Hence, he delegated me or elected me to represent him and represent the party for that matter.
Okay, and we didn't know about this until you showed up.
Well,
I mean, they could have called us earlier and told us that
apologies if any inconvenience is caused. However, it is important we look at it as a party being represented here rather than an individual.
Sammy?
Evans.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks
You did a press conference today, and you put a lot of things out. I wanted to start with the law, because you quoted a lot of the law. I wanted to go to the substance, and there are a lot of other allegations will come to first. But I want to start with the substance. I think, for me, reading to your thing, and I went to look for the law, the Iyoko Act. You referenced the law and questioned why the Iyoko, having all the powers under the law, and I want to read parts of this. Just to illustrate the point you made. And it comes down to what you believe to be state inertia. And the law you quoted was, where the executive director considers that freezing of property is necessary to facilitate an investigation or trial, the executive director may in writing direct the freezing of A, the property of a person or entity being investigated, B, specify property held by a person or entity, other than the person or entity being investigated or tried. The executive director shall, within 14 days after the freezing of the property, apply to the court for confirmation of the freezing. So what's your point? Your point, the law says, is you don't even need a court order to freeze. You freeze before you go to the court. And you also make a point about the Attorney General also were given similar powers. That it says that a freezing order shall prohibit the respondent, another person, from disposing of or dealing with property or a part of the property or interest in the property that is specified in order, except in a manner specified in the order. B, direct the Attorney General to take custody and control the property or part of the property specified in the order, and manage or deal with the property as directed by the court. Your point you wanted to make with the law is?
Yeah, Evans, thank you. And let me say good evening to all our cherished viewers across the globe. You know, this issue has to do with the closure of Menzgold and the irresponsible conduct of government in the aftermath thereof. We were told by government that the object of his intervention in this matter was primarily to protect the investments of customers. So one would have thought that government would have at least conducted an audit of the assets and liabilities of the company. Again, government would have at least tracked the assets of the company both in Ghana and also outside Ghana, to at least, you know, put in place a roadmap of ensuring that assets of the companies are confiscated, accounts are frozen, and money is retrieved for the grieving customers of Menzgold. But Evans, you will agree with me that we've not seen anything like that. The point about the law is that if you look at Section 2 of the Iyoko Act of 2010, Act 804, it is clear that the object of the economic and organized, you know, of Iyoko, let me put it in that simple way so that people can follow, is to, number one, detect and prevent the commission of economic crimes, and number two, to facilitate the confiscation of the proceeds of economic crimes. So if you look at Section 33, we have clothed the executive director of Iyoko with the powers and the authority to freeze properties which he deems necessary to any investigations that he is conducting.
Such as I read.
Exactly, such as you read. So, and even if you look at the law and you see the enormous powers that the law gives to him, it begs the question as to what Iyoko has been doing all this while since this matter, you know, arose. Because we know that Menzgold was directed by the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, to, you know, close down somewhere 15 September 2018. It's been close to 4 months now. The question we have to ask government and its spokespersons is that what steps has government taken in accordance with the law to at least arrest number one, and his accomplices, put them under strict surveillance? What steps have they taken to confiscate the accounts of number one, the directors, the shareholders, and other senior management members of Menzgold? You know, these are the critical questions that we need to ask. And the answers are very obvious. That government has sat down and in the past 4 months allowed number one and his accomplices to get off the hook. And it is very important to also add that on the 15th of December 2018, staff, workers of Menzgold themselves, led by their corporate affairs manager, came out with a press conference warning the public and actually alerting government that some of our senior members are dispensing or are selling the properties of the company, which we believe is inimical to the interests of the customers of the company. They gave a lot of evidence and called on government to intervene in the matter. Till date, we have businesses belonging to number one and his accomplices, belonging to, you know, other affiliate businesses, you know, of number one, like Xylophone Media and so on, still operating in this country, whilst our government, a government that we elected, a government that we pay with our taxes, looks on unconcerned. And we believe that this is reckless, this is irresponsible on the part of government, and government must step up to the plate, take full responsibility, and enforce the law. That is just one aspect of the legal issues we raise.
Let's stay with the law a bit more, because let me bring in Kamaldeen. So there's evidence that shows clearly, and this is evidence that the Security and Exchange Commission itself, in writing to Amanda Clinton, who represents some of the Menzgold customers who feel their monies have been locked up, a petition that she wrote to SEC and others. The response from SEC said, and it was on this show last week, so viewers have seen this, that SEC says in August they had compiled evidence of suspicious criminal activity at Menzgold and had sent that dossier to Iyoko in August of 2018, right? Yeah. And I just read the law, which Sami had quoted at the press conference. It is only yesterday that we heard that Iyoko had moved to freeze his assets, and they're working now to freeze his account, working out to freeze his assets. If SEC had compiled and investigated, compiled a whole dossier of evidence and given to Iyoko in August, why did it take so many months for Iyoko to do what the law empowers it to do, freeze the assets?
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy with having to deal with a lawyer who is seated here. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not pretending to be one. However, the law is, or the laws of the state are available for all of us to read and understand same. In fact, not seeking to interpret it, but then understand what the law says. First of all, the issue about timing is raised here. Okay? The issue raised here is not whether or not Iyoko, okay, has the authority or the capacity or is in good standing to start or begin investigation, okay, or to go into investigating an individual or an organization believe, okay, to be carrying out what we may term nefarious activities.
That is not in doubt.
That's not in doubt at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So why didn't they do that?
Is it
exercise that power?
I think we must be intellectually honest, okay, and try to choose the law to suit many, and in fact this country, not us. First of all, the same Sami Jemfe seated here, when I listened to him today, when he was making his delivery, alluded to the fact that the Menzgold matter did not start today.
No, that's,
wait a minute.
We'll come there. We'll come there.
No, it's about the timing and
no,
the
no. My question. No.
Evans, we raised.
We'll come to what happened under the NDC. Trust me, we'll interrogate that. But my question is direct. We are talking. We want to start with, because listen, there are thousands of customers out there whose funds are locked up.
Yeah.
And they've been crying to this government to act quickly and freezes assets, freezes accounts, defray some of the costs? And that's my direct question to you. That's why I started there, because this is most important to the people who are suffering tonight. The government had the power to act to freeze the assets, even without a court order.
Even if you had listened to me.
No, I'll come. You wanted to go. You wanted to go. I'm saying that we will come to what happened under the NDC.
Absolutely.
So not go there. I'm asking a direct question.
I'm not going
Why
there.
Did the government...
I'm not going there. I am raising an important point.
Yeah.
A lawyer who addressed a press conference raised which formed the preamble of their press conference, which has to do with due process of law.
No problem. And I'm saying that we'll interrogate that. We'll interrogate that.
No, I'm raising that one, premising that, okay, my argument on that. If you raise an argument about due process of the law, and then did say that indeed you had cause to initiate, if you like, notices. You had cause to issue notices to the general public, and for that matter, the said institution which was operating illegally. Okay, however, you could not pin them down or you could not close them down because you did not finish the work that you're supposed to do. Now you raise the issue about...
This happened under your watch
August,
right now. I'm asking...
In August 2018, Evans, you raised the issue about in August 2018, Iyoko saying that they had prepared a dossier on Menzgold.
Yes.
Okay, and forwarded same to SEC.
No, SEC
prepared compiled the dossier,
and sent it to
forwarded
Iyoko.
Same to Iyoko. And then Iyoko had to act, as it were. Question is, why didn't they act until now? Yes. And I'm saying that they acted.
When the law empowered them to do.
They acted because...
By doing what?
They acted because, first of all, SEC had issued a statement out, notice out, warning the general public, okay, from dealing with this particular institution because they thought it was not proper. Bank of Ghana had cause to do same in same month. So if somebody then says that there had not been an action taken, I think for me, with a great of respect, the person is not being factual.
Okay, so
at all.
So you're saying to me and the listeners, the thousands of customers of Menzgold out there, that the mere issuance of warnings was enough.
No, it's a process. That's why I premised my argument on due process.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you, that's what you're saying to them, that it's enough.
We are living in a society of laws. And of course, he is a lawyer. He will tell the due process of the law is as good as a substantive law.
No, but
you
say the law, I just quoted the law to you.
Yes.
The law says that the executive director of Iyoko, if he deems that it is necessary to help an investigation, he's powered by the law to freeze the person's assets, freeze his accounts.
Yes, before I came here, I took...
The fact that you did it yesterday, the fact that Iyoko did it yesterday, it's an admission that it's something that was necessary.
Of course.
But why didn't you do it 6 months ago?
Again, I'm saying that, of course, you cited August. And I'm saying that in August, we had cause
because it's about possible dissipation of
you asked
money in
whether in August, when the dossier was built, was an action taken. And I said yes, answering in the affirmative. In August...
That wasn't my question. My question was about why didn't the account, why didn't the Iyoko come under the authority of the act to freeze his assets?
It's a process.
Once again, the law that I just read didn't say that you cannot freeze the asset until you had warned.
You can freeze the assets. In fact, I don't know.
So why didn't you do that?
He says section 33. I thought when you take Act 466, which is establishing Iyoko, it was Serious Fraud Office, now metamorphosing to Iyoko. Of course, it's section 13 downward. I mean, specifically clause 11, which mandates Iyoko, as it were, to freeze if they have cause to believe that there's some nefarious activities going on. And of course, Iyoko had acted. Whether yesterday or today, it is important that when the matters came before them, they had taken action. Certain portions of investigation we may not be privy to, but once is a process. So the point is that having established a process, is it a registered company? Yes. What are they supposed to be doing this? What the dossier saying they're doing this? Where do we come in? We have to come in. Now, if we have enough evidence, and then we are sure of the process, we need to ensure that we issue notices or we need to ensure that we act on it. And I'm saying that your question as to whether or not in August when the matters were raised, they actually acted. And I said, yes, in the affirmative, they acted.
They acted by doing what exactly?
Of course, by first of all informing the general public. We are talking about the citizens of this country being affected. Remember that. And of course, I sympathize with them wherever they are. whoever has lost
by
a
informing
CD,
the public. What do you say inform the public? What do you mean by informing the
notices
public?
were first of all given out to the public that, look, this said institution and the operations of said institution does not fall in line with the law. And for that matter, we think that something untoward is happening. And therefore, stay off it. And then while we deal, and also they wrote again to Menzgold.
But that's the question.
Not just the notices.
So you are admitting what you are admitting that as of August, you knew there was an illegality happening.
It wasn't.
And you're telling the listeners and the viewers, and which is the government's position all along, that we are the state. We found illegality.
Yeah.
But citizens, deal with it yourself. If you go and you find a problem, that's your position.
There were 2 correspondents out.
That's your position.
No.
That's what they said. That we found illegality.
Evans, let's
issue notices
and understand each other here. I'm saying that there were 2 correspondents. One to the general public, issuing out a warning. The other one writing to the company, okay, that look, what you are doing, you are debarred by law not to do that. So 2 correspondents. So the action was actually taken, one to inform the public, the other one to inform the institution in question, which they had done. So at the end of the day, they are mandated by the law to do what they have done. And of course, having had enough evidence again to say that, look, we can even step in to freeze the accounts of sale.
You had the evidence in August.
Why?
SEC gave the evidence in August.
Once again, I will continue dwelling on the point of due process of the law. But you don't do things within your own whims and caprices.
No, the law says that if you think that it is necessary.
Absolutely, I'm happy about that. If you then think it's necessary.
So when SEC provided the evidence.
This then tells
when SEC provided the evidence.
Yes.
Iyoko didn't think the evidence was necessary to act on.
Excuse me, with the greatest of respect, I would not speak for Iyoko, but I'm saying that what the law, when you look at what the law says, obviously the law tells you that there is a process to follow. As and when you deem it fit to say that, look, it is proper, this person's account or that organization's account is frozen.
Iyoko didn't think it was necessary in August to freeze the assets.
I never said so. I only said that it was with recourse to the due process, which he alluded to in his press statement. That's what the point I made.
Sammy?
Evans, I think that you should be considerate to my brother, because clearly I can understand his difficulty and his frustration on this matter.
Talk about yourself. No difficulty here. There's no difficulty.
Inviting him to defend the indefensible in this matter. Because the question you asked him was a very simple question.
It's unfortunate.
The question is this. SEC ordered Menzgold to shut down on the 15th of September 2018.
Was it
that is a fact.
Was it a closure?
Now, it's been almost 4 months now since SEC ordered and actually shut down Menzgold. The question you are being asked is that what have you done within this 4 months period? Why didn't you deem it necessary 4 months ago to freeze the account of #1 and his accomplices? Here I mean the directors and the shareholders of Menzgold. That is the question you are being asked on this platform this evening.
And I answer the question.
Please, my brother.
If you allow, make a point out.
So this is a simple question. You sat aloof for 3.5 months. And you see, I want our viewers this evening to appreciate the irresponsibility of our government in this whole matter. This is the press statement of the staff and workers of Menzgold, which I raised. It is connected to this issue.
I'm paying attention to interrogate that.
Yes. And in this statement, if you look at the specific allegations which they made, you look at number 3. The staff, and mind you, this statement was signed by Nanaya Ofe, the corporate manager of Menzgold, Mr. Elisha Wusu, head of bullion shipment, and so on, senior members of management of Menzgold. And this is what they say. So we also wish to inform clients that management has started selling of assets for personal gain and also settle their close friends. Viewers should forgive me, but I'm quoting directly from the document. Number 4, they say, we confirm the traveling plans of management members outside the country. Some have tried and have actually been deported. This is how they put it. Then number 5, they say, it is unfortunate to say that aside certain external forces which caused this crisis, certain internal misappropriation is a key factor. Management members have fraudulently acquired properties such as luxury houses, schools, flashy and luxury cars
make the
and
point,
many
I
more
understand
to
that.
dwindle
Well,
the finances of the
so
company.
the point is...
So the point is that in spite of these several warnings from the staff and workers of Menzgold, and in spite of these calls from the staff and workers of Menzgold, that government, hey, intervene. Because senior managements of the party are selling the assets of the company for their personal gain. This is the time for you to come in and confiscate the access of Menzgold and all that. Government didn't heed any of this. Government was not bothered to act.
Come out, excuse me. Sammy, in your statement to the press today, you've made the point that, and this really is about tracing where this started, and what most of you have said is a failure of government and government institutions to arrest this problem when it reared its head. And that if government and government institutions and state had acted properly, we wouldn't be where we are. And there's a good reason why we need to interrogate the timelines, so that as a country we probably will learn from that.
Absolutely.
And we put pressure on the state institutions not to repeat this mistake, because it's happened one too many. Those who lived in the 80s will point to others that happened in the past. But Samit, to that point exactly, in 2014, and this is from your own press statement, you said the BOG discovered in a special exercise within the Central Region that an entity called Menzbank was operating a microfinance scheme in Kaswa under the guise of gold trading, and the word that you use there is illegally, using the name bank. You also state that on March 11, 2015, a year after you first discovered the illegality, the BOG, which by the way has on its board the deputy finance minister, so the government has a stake in that as well. And the BOG really is, we know, it's a state entity as well. We are talking about the state and government. Issued a notice publishing a list of unlicensed entities operating again illegally. And that notice included Menzbank. And they are changed then, as you said, from a K to a C. The same question applies to you, Sami, that in 2014, when you discovered the illegality, you waited a year before you issued a public notice, simply publishing a list of illegal entities. Now, the law that you cited today, Sami, applies to you as well. Why didn't your government and institutions that worked under your government then also activate this and protect the interest of the customers by, one, activating the laws to shut it down, freezing the assets as well? It applies to you as well, both governments.
I will explain that to you, but I hope we come back to these legal issues and
but that's where we are.
The arrest of Namwan and his.
We'll come to that.
Yeah,
we'll come to that. But this is very fundamental.
Let me deal with this fundamental, and I agree with you that it is a fundamental issue that we need to address. Like you've rightly pointed out, it was under the tenure of the former Mahama NDC administration that the Bank of Ghana discovered the illegal banking activities.
In fact, it started under your watch.
In 2014.
Yes, under your watch.
And as we rightly pointed out, in 2015, the Bank of Ghana issued a notice to the public and published a list of entities, business entities, operating illegally, which included Menzbank, ending with a K. Now, because of the hard time the Bank of Ghana was giving the company, the later metamorphosed, they changed their name from Menzbank, ending with a K, to Menzbank, ending with a C.
But illegality didn't change.
Of course.
Fundamentally, the problem was the illegality.
Of course.
Which you rightly identified was happening in 2014. The thing you didn't cure the illegality.
That is not a problem at all, if you allow me. So in 2015, a notice was issued. Again in 2016, a notice was issued to the public warning us against the illegal deposit-taking activities of Menzbank, ending with a C. Now, Menzbank replied to the Bank of Ghana and told the Bank of Ghana that we have a license from the Minerals Commission of Ghana, that we've actually been registered by the Precious Minerals Marketing Company of Ghana to deal in gold, and that our license allows us to do what we are doing. And so because they were duly registered and a duly licensed business entity, the Bank of Ghana needed to do some verifications to determine or to decide as to whether or not to shut the company down. And so what the Bank of Ghana did in 2016 was to activate an investigative process into the operations and the license status of Menzbank. That process began in 2016 under the NDC. So you remember that the Bank of Ghana contacted the Minerals Commission, the PMC, and so on. But this is the interesting part. As this process was proceeding, we exited office in 2016. And let me admit, okay. Even if you can allow me to learn,
sure.
let me admit that even though we exited office, SEC, Bank of Ghana, and the other regulatory bodies of this, company did not stop the investigative process that we had commenced. They continued it. But the executive arm of government, headed by the President of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, while this process was going on, and while state institutions like the Bank of Ghana and SEC were saying no to Menzgold, our president and his appointees decided to give him thumbs up. So the point I'm making here, so if I can conclude on this point. So the point here is that
you've made the point something about,
if you can allow me to conclude on this point. Yeah, Ivan. So the point I'm making here is that Menzgold could not be immediately shut down.
No, that's not true. No? Because you say in your statement, and I'm using your own statement.
Yeah.
As of 2014. You knew an illegality was happening.
Yes.
You say, and that's the word, illegality.
Yes.
A year later, you maintained it was illegal.
Yes.
A year after that, in fact, 2016, from 2014 when you first saw illegality, 2015, on March, your own timeline, you still maintain its illegality. April 13, 2016, BOG issued a notice, again, because it believes that's illegality. Then all of a sudden, you're telling us that late August 2016, the illegality disappeared because they wrote to you and said they've been licensed. Okay. So on what basis were you claiming all along for 2 years that they were operating legally?
The illegality was in relation to deposit taking, because that is what the Bank of Ghana, the specialized institutions deposit taking, the Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act allows the Bank of Ghana to regulate. So they were talking about deposit taking. But the company came back to the Bank of Ghana and said, we are just dealing in gold. And our license from the Mineral Commission
and you took your
allows us to do it. No, we didn't. That is why, if you look at this press statement, Evans, if you can allow me, that is why if you look at this press statement, we indicate that on August 16, 2016, the Bank of Ghana contacted officials of the Minerals Commission and the Precious Minerals Marketing Company on the licensing status of Menzbank, and subsequently,
the law you quoted, the law you quoted says that for 2 years you did not find that anything necessary to freeze the assets while she did the investigation.
No, have you?
The Iyoko law that you quoted.
No.
That you said that where executive considers the freezing of property. At that time.
No determination as to criminal activity had been made at the time.
But the law didn't say that you need to establish.
You see? When
that was the same point it was making.
No.
That was the same point it was making.
Let me explain that.
You're saying
you are missing two different issues.
The law, okay, explain.
Iyoko had not even come into the picture in 2014, 2015, and 2016.
Yeah.
So the issue about the freezing of property had not even arose.
But why not?
No, please.
Why not if it's an
Because at the time, the Bank of Ghana, the regulator of the deposit-taking operations in Ghana, had only raised a regulatory issue.
An illegality.
And at the time, Menzbank ending with a K, Menzbank ending with a C, were relatively small, quite unknown rural schemes somewhere in the central region. So they needed to carry investigations into the operations of the company to in line with administrative justice.
I see.
You understand? So
that is what the MPP says we're also doing.
No. Even if you can allow me.
Not yet.
If you can allow me.
Not yet.
The question you asked my brother was not in relation to the processes that state institutions like Bank of Ghana and SEC went through before September 2018. You asked him a specific question.
Why are they not using the powers?
After they closed down Menzgold and after a specific determination, today, government has charged Nana Mensah for defrauding by false pretense, isn't it?
Evans.
In 2014, 2015, 2016, had any such determination been made against Nana Mensah?
No, you had made a determination that was illegal.
Yes, in relation to their deposit-taking activity.
So what did you do about it to stop that illegality?
Number one,
apart from just issuing notice.
Number one, apart from you realize that it was the issuance of the notice that made the company.
But you allowed the legality. No, you allowed the legality to continue for 2 years.
No, you realize that even under this government, after
your
state
government,
agencies
answer for what your government did.
After state agencies concluded their investigations into this matter, they dropped the deposit-taking activity angle of this whole issue, and rather went in on the capital markets operations of the company, and that is why SEC was the institution which wrote to the bank and ordered it to shut down. You understand? So at the time, the Bank of Ghana felt that the company was engaged in deposit taking.
Let me ask a final question, then we can move on to other things.
Because you are not allowing me, you are not allowing me to answer your question.
Hold on.
Because you keep cutting in,
please,
and so
please,
if you can just
I
allow
do that
me
to everybody because it needs to be probed.
No problem.
You have 1 minute to learn.
Take
1 minute and then move on, please.
So the point I am making here is that we were the ones who commenced investigations into the operations of Menzbank. That process commenced in 2016. And that is why the Bank of Ghana engaged the Minerals Commission, the PMC, and the Security Exchanges Commission to consider this Menzgold problem and to come to the determination as to whether or not the company was violating the conditions of its license. Before we left office in 2016, no definite determination had been made. Absolutely. That determination was made in 2018 by the state agency. That is the point we are making here. So the issues we are raising about the freezing of the company's assets is subsequent to the decision of government to shut down the company. We are talking about 4 months ago. We are not talking about
the last
2 years ago or 1 year ago. So
one minute quickly. 1 minute quickly. Let's move on.
Evans, you will not be fair to me if you say 1 minute.
No, I started with you. I started with you, so you already
on this for far too long.
No, but the same thing. First of all, 1 minute to learn. We need to move on.
The last time I checked, I was told English is no law. Okay, you can speak all the English, but the law is still the law. You have established an illegality according to you. You have established an illegality. There is a law mandating you to act on same and in fact investigate and issue punitive measures if it's so desire. You so desire, or if it deems fit, you deem fit. At the end of the day, you left it hanging. You didn't do. When we asked you, you said due process of the law. Same applied here.
Agreed.
When the matter about dossier being built about them, Iyoko stepping in, having the mandate to investigate, due process of the law, which you allude to, indeed ought to be followed. Are you getting my point here? So we are all on same page.
No.
Point. Wait a minute.
You have a few more seconds to wrap up because we need to move on.
Point is that if indeed you sit here to tell us that there was a men's bank and a men's bank wherever under your watch, which you deem to be illegal, and then you had only issued notices out. As to whether they wrote to the institution, that's another matter. He didn't even mention that. He said notices to the general public. As to whether they communicated even to Men's Bank was another matter because he didn't even listen to him. Yeah. Now the point is that we had cause to write to Men's Gold. We had cause to again initiate investigations into it. And of course, if the law mandates Yoko to issue, to freeze their accounts, of course, as and when they think that the process has gotten to where they will have to do that. So we're all on that. Now the point is,
I think you've exhausted your time. No. You've made that point. We'll come to another thing. Okay. And there are many things you put out today. But if we stick on this, we're not going to explore the other issues. There are very other important issues that we need to explore. So we need to move on to that. But fundamentally, the customers out there think both governments have done them no good at all because you could have done far more. At least you owe them at least that admission that you could have. Both of you could have done far more than you've done. But we'll come to that. There's some breaking news that we need to quickly bring in. There's fire, we understand, at Odawna Market. It has been contained by the fire service. Joseph Okukugapo joins me live right now on the line. Hello, Joseph. What is happening there behind you? I can see there's a lot of activity.
Evans, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Joseph. What's happening there? What's the situation where you are?
I'm at the Odawna Market at the moment, close to the circle overhead, what has come to be known as the Dubai here. And this fire, as you see in the background, has been raging, we understand, for a little over an hour, like an hour and a half. And it's led to some destruction here. A number of items, clothes, vegetables, food materials, and all we gather have all been destroyed in the blaze. Let's just get some quick details on the efforts ongoing to control this. Richard Mensah is Executive Secretary to the AMA Task Force that actually operates around this particular area. Just give us a sense, how bad is the fire? And is it under control yet?
Oh, yes. I think that as at now, the fire is under control, about 60%. There are more fire tenders that is coming in, and then I pray that it can quench the fire.
Can you give me a sense about how many stores have been destroyed? What kind of items have been affected? Has that been quantified yet?
Not really, not ascertained now, but I can give you an overview.
Go ahead.
Yes, there's around 85 shops.
Okay, so about 85 shops where they sell what exactly have been destroyed in the place?
Oh, you know, this market, they usually sell so many things. People even cook in, people even use gas as well. It's being fixed over there.
Has anyone been injured in all of this that has played out?
As of now, when trying to quench the fire, we realized that we overheard someone trying to shout about that. So we went in with my commander here and with Honorable Moses Abor. He's also inside trying to bring things out.
So they are trying to get out the person who was shouting, whose voice alone you've heard, but you're not sure what exactly is happening to the person in there.
Yes.
And there are complaints that the fire service team didn't come in quickly. They've been around for a while. It's taking them too much time to really bring this under control. What's hampering your efforts to quench it completely?
Let me tell you the truth and the gospel truth. They came in about 10 minutes late, but they are doing very well. The fire service is doing extremely well.
So what's stopping them to the extent that the fire is still not off completely as we speak?
Master, let me tell you one thing. This fire is not a small fire. Let me tell you, it's about 2,000 shops, and they are doing well. Look at the number of walls that they've been broken with the help of AME, and they are doing well. The fire service is doing well.
A final clarification.
Yes.
What exactly started the fire? Do you know that yet?
What actually happened was that we're going rounds to also make sure that people who sells on the pavement will leave the pavement so that we can also leave home. So I was in with my commander and then in a car. Okay. So when we got to the market, the entrance of the market, and then we realized that there was some sort of smoke that came out. So we had to bash in, we rushed in, and when we couldn't get where the pointer, so we shouted. And Honorable Moses Abor also coming also shout, so for people to also leave and go.
But for now, do you know what started the fire? Was it an electrical fault? Was it someone cooking? What exactly started the fire?
Master, right now I can see, you can see. Let me show you where it's here. It started just here. So realize that there's some woman who sells here. It's a woman who sells here. So I think that it started from there. That is what I think, because that's what we came to, see here.
We'll see how that goes. Richard Mensah there is secretary of the AMA task force. And so, you're exactly right here in Circle. So, the fire service team are here, number of fire tenders. I've seen about 3 of them around. A number of firemen, the police are around. Several of the residents and the market folks have also been around here, even as the work continues to bring the fire under control. Evans.
But let me tell you, Honorable Moses is doing well.
Odawna, where there's a fire tonight, and as you just heard there, the fire service is still battling to try and bring it under control. Let's quickly go back to the Menzgold story, and just flowing from the statement, that press conference that was done by the NDC today. And there is a question that flows to you, Kamal, and I'll come to you on that because you put it out, Sammy. But Kamal, why, in God's name, was the president seen in a picture with Namwan? Was the Rebecca Foundation being beneficiary of Menzgold, etc.? Was there's an entrepreneur?
Menzgold.
Say.
Don't worry, I'll deal with it.
There's an entrepreneurs association that gave awards under the auspices of the finance ministry, also giving awards to Menzgold. Well, at the time, and this is an important point. At the time when the Bank of Ghana had raised issues publicly about the legality of what Menzgold was doing, and has issued, as of 2014, all through, had been issued notices warning the public. And yet, the president was welcoming the man to the Flagstaff House.
Very well.
Why?
You see, let me once again begin by saying that whoever is affected by the alleged nefarious activities of Menzgold today, of course, we sympathize with them as a party. We sympathize with them as a government in power or a party in power. Fact is that you're asking as to why we see pictures, or we saw pictures of the man, indeed, who is being sought for today with the president. And seeing the pictures. I don't
By
know
the time
what
when this business
absolutely.
questions
I don't know.
have been raised about it by other state institutions.
If you listen to Sami very well, Sami talks about a company licensed to buy gold and export same. Registered duly, licensed duly to do a business. So it is not in question as to whether or not Menzgold was properly a company registered under the laws of Ghana. The activities of Menzgold, which we questioned, okay, as a government, when we sought to investigate the deposits being collected, as it were, which we thought that it was not proper, it wasn't within the tenets of the law, and that we needed to get institutions to write to them. Those activities were what we questioned. Now, as to whether or not taking a picture, wait a minute, as to whether or not taking a picture with the president is a crime, that's, I mean, that's quite sad and pathetic.
No, you just raised a point that your institutions have raised questions about the legality of Menzgold
of the deposits being collected.
I'm saying it's an institution. It's an institution.
Absolutely.
Part of the institution's business had been questioned by Bank of Ghana. The owner of that business is coming to see the president.
And part of same institution's business and part of same institution's business were not in question legally.
No, I mean, nobody has questioned that.
I am seeking to say that the picture matter that you have raised as to why an illegal company, as it were, a man who is supposed to be within it, has a picture with the president. First of all, I really find it immaterial when somebody says that I've had a picture with the president and therefore it means it's an endorsement. Celebrity pictures.
Come on, you can't say that. Let me tell you why you can't say that. Let me tell you why you can't say that with the greatest of respect. There was a lady, a poor lady, who was on my show Ghana Connect last week. Unilliterate, hasn't been to school, can speak a bit of English. Told us, saw the picture with the president, and felt, oh, if this guy is taking a picture with the president, he must be legitimate. So this is a country we live in, where 70% of people, forget about what your detractors have said. Listen to the thousands of people.
No, I get it. That's why I sympathize with the people
who are telling you that picture, they saw it and they thought, oh, then there's something genuine here.
So Evans.
And speak to them.
Let's be fair to ourselves. If that is even the understanding of that lady, don't we reserve the right to also explain to the
which
public?
Is what you're doing, but I'm asking you to explain to him.
And I'm saying that if you are alluding to the pictures, okay, and saying that it amounts to some sort of endorsement, then it's sad. For me, when we had our press conference today, we did mention, we saw the former President John Dramani Mahama in a picture with Andrew Solomon on a bed. And we all know what Andrew Solomon does. A gay activist, somebody who is an advocate for homosexuality in the world. So I am competently placed to say that the fact that John Dramani Mahama was with him on bed, John Dramani Mahama, our former president, His Excellency, is gay or is an advocate for gayism. I am competently placed to say that. Going by the picture logic, I should say that John Dramani Mahama strongly is a gay because he was seen with Andrew Solomon. It's pathetic and factually inept for you to say that. So at the end of the day, saying #1 in a picture with Chief Imam, I should say that the Chief Imam says, I endorse whatever you are doing, go and embark on illegality. Seeing #1 in a picture with His Majesty, Asante Hene, I should say that Asante Hene says that, look, I endorse what you're doing, go ahead and go and do it. The fact is that we have premised our argument today, or our submissions today, on the law. If the law says you are doing something untoward and it's not proper, investigation ought to be launched into it, and we go on. Of course, I will credit this government for one thing. Since we came, we have had cause to say that, look into the financial sector. Let us make sure that we clean the financial sector. They did a press conference the last time. Their moment of, the so-called moment of truth the last time. They did it and then came out to say that, look, what we have seen here is that we have seen a nosedive in the growth of the financial sector. Why? The cleaning of the financial sector was so imperative to us. And I'm sure that is what has unearthed some of these things that we are discussing today. Clearly, the government of the day has not actually slept on his job. They got up to say, let's work on this. Let's make sure that whoever is perpetuating, going on with an illegality, we try to nip that in the bud. And that is what the government of the day has done. So at the end of the day, the picture logic is nothing but, for me, with a great respect to them, jaundice point.
So, I mean, you raised that. Your reaction to that?
It's a very feeble point.
I want to make just a couple of points within the limited time we have. And the first point I want to make is that the NDC took the right steps when this men's bank issue is heard under the NDC administration in 2014 and 2015. And that is why we no longer have men's bank ending with a K.
Yeah.
We no longer have men's bank ending with a C.
2 minutes, you're choosing to go back to something of exhaustion.
So I needed to make that point forcefully. And it is also a fact that we commence investigations into their illegal operations. But unfortunately, that process could not be concluded, before we exited office. They've carried through with that. The issues we are raising now has to do with the actions that they needed to take after they closed down the company. And that is where the distinction
by the
lies.
law.
Number two, the question you have asked is very, important because it has to do with the several overt acts of endorsements and promotion of #1 and Menzgold by President Akufo-Addo and his appointees.
Sad.
On the 26th of August 2017, Evans, even though that government at all times knew, according to the central bank, that #1 and Menzgold were engaged in illegal business, government under specifically the Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana, under the auspices of the Ministry of Finance, awarded Menzgold with a quality award. They awarded them as one of the best companies in the gold assaying and monumental coins industry. That is a fact. Also, on the 28th of February 2018, the Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Ministry of Business Development, awarded Menzgold and #1. Then number 3, please, we didn't come here to have a shouting match. If you can allow me, let's have a decent discussion. Let's end in a decent manner, please.
I'm saying you are in a video, not even a
Evans, I want to address this issue of the picture.
We unfortunately, we had 1 hour for this.
Just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, no, we have a few seconds.
Okay, I can do that in 30 seconds. You see, the point is that #1
should be given 30
had
seconds
no business joining the delegation that met the president at the seat of government.
make a point?
He was
30
neither
seconds.
a CAF official
30
or a GFA official. The fact that he had expressed an intention to sponsor Ghana's football league did not entitle him to be part of that meeting. But you see, the issue we are raising doesn't have to do with just the picture. The man shared the picture on his Facebook wall with the caption, Mr. President, we owe it all to you, ascribing his successes to the president. Yet government was not bothered to issue a disclaimer to this, and you are here defending this. You advertised the man, you promoted the man, you held him out as a genuine businessman. That is the point you are making.
Gentlemen,
You've had your time. You have your time.
We run out of time. Thank you all for joining us.
Get them their money.
Thank you very much.
You are seen on video.
Apply the DKF principle.